Modern high-intensity military conflict has accustomed us to large-scale artillery duels, thousands of drones in the sky, and deeply echeloned defense. But there is another war. It is waged deep behind enemy lines, in the narrow streets of ruined metropolises, in absolute radio silence. This is a war of Tier 1 specialists, the elite of the elite, whose presence is never publicized by official departments. Our stage is a fictional but chillingly realistic city in an unstable region of the Middle East. A complex, chaotic urban landscape where every building is a potential firing position, and a dense tangle of civilian communications creates the perfect white noise for concealment. At the very heart of this urban labyrinth, in a well-fortified villa, lies the target, an influential local leader whose decisions can alter the balance of power in the region. His security is provided by one of the most experienced structures in the world, operators of the American Delta Force unit. Their task is not merely physical protection, but counterintelligence support, preventing any assassination attempts and preparing emergency evacuation routes. Opposing them is Russian Special Forces, the Special Operations Forces, SSO. The SSO's mission is to covertly penetrate the enemy-controlled city, identify vulnerabilities in the villa's defenses, eliminate or capture the target, and extract alive. In clashes of this level, victory does not go to the one who pulls the trigger faster. It is a battle of ISR concepts: intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. The side that detects the opponent's presence first wins the battle before the first shot is even fired. Any professional operation begins long before the first operator steps onto hostile territory. It begins in the electromagnetic spectrum. Delta Force operators understand perfectly. An adversary of the SSO's caliber will not launch a blind assault. They expect the Russian specialists to start by collecting radio signatures and analyzing traffic. To protect the villa, Delta deploys mobile electronic warfare systems, but utilizes them in passive mode. Active jamming is a tactical mistake. A powerful jamming signal would instantly betray the presence of military specialists on the city map. Instead, Delta's systems mimic the natural noise of the metropolis, the chaotic operation of civilian routers, cellular base stations, and household appliances. Moreover, for internal coordination, the villa's security completely abandons traditional radio communication. They switch to closed wired communication lines within the perimeter and directional laser data links for communication with external outposts. The laser beam is invisible to conventional frequency scanners and transmits information strictly point-to-point, eliminating the possibility of interception. However, this ideal silence has a flip side. SSO signals intelligence specialists, analyzing the frequency spectrum around the villa, look for this exact anomaly. In a city buzzing with chaotic digital traffic, the sudden appearance of a sterile radio zone is a clear marker. For SSO analysts, the absence of typical civilian signals around the secured facility becomes a trigger. Professionals are at work here. The SSO deploys tactical aviation and small reconnaissance drones. Stealthy UAVs equipped with multispectral cameras and high-resolution thermal imagers take to the sky. Their task is not just to capture the villa's walls, but to map thermal contrasts. They look for microscopic heat leaks, running generators, air conditioners of server rooms hidden under camouflage nets, and, most importantly, the thermal signatures of personnel at observation posts. Every step at this stage is a work of precision. The defense tries to blend into the landscape, while the assault tries to probe the limits of this blending. By the end of the first phase, both sides understand. It will be no easy walk. Delta Force detects the presence of unidentified UAVs in the sky and realizes the perimeter is being studied. The SSO is convinced that the facility is guarded by top-tier specialists. The score remains tied at 0-0. Following reconnaissance, the SSO proceeds to the insertion phase. The use of helicopters for insertion is ruled out. The outskirts of the city may be saturated with man-portable air defense systems, manpads, and the roar of helicopter turbines would rob the operation of its main asset: surprise. SSO assault groups employ low-visibility ops tactics. They infiltrate the city in small groups of 2 to 3 men, utilizing inconspicuous local transport, old SUVs and civilian sedans. The operators wear local clothing, concealing light body armor, tactical belts, and compact automatic weapons with suppressors. They disperse in the immediate vicinity of the villa, occupying pre-established safe houses. Direct visual surveillance of the target begins from the windows of these locations. Delta Force, in turn, establishes a classic defense in depth. The first, outer echelon, consists of loyal local militia and mercenaries. They serve as a human shield and an early warning indicator. They are unaware of the defense plan's details. Their task is to patrol the streets and maintain the appearance of routine security. The second echelon comprises concealed observation posts of Delta Force itself, established on high ground around the villa. These are the eyes of the defense. Delta sniper teams are armed with high-precision rifle systems and equipped with advanced optics. They scan the streets not for individuals in camouflage, but for anomalies in human behavior. How does an ordinary local move? Chaotically, relaxed. How does a special forces operator move, even in civilian clothes? He subconsciously controls sectors, assesses cover, maintains distance, and avoids open spaces. The third echelon is the close protection team of the VIP inside the villa. They remain constantly by the target's side, ready at any second to secure him in an armored vehicle and break through the cordon along one of 3 pre-planned evacuation routes. Tension reaches its peak. The pieces are set on the board. The opposing forces are separated by mere hundreds of meters of urban space, and the first tactical error by either side will inevitably cause the situation to detonate. Neither side makes a mistake, but technology and professionalism clash head-on. One of the Delta Force snipers, scanning the roof of an unfinished building 300 meters from the villa through a thermal imaging device, spots 3 thermal signatures. The individuals on the roof move with too much coordination. They are not merely standing, they are taking positions, covering interlocking fields of fire and organizing sector defense. Local militants do not fight this way. This is an SSO advanced team establishing a foothold for the assault. In a Tier 1 environment, time is measured in fractions of a second. The Delta sniper cannot simply open fire. A loud, large-caliber shot would instantly compromise his own position and alert the SSO assault group that their plan has been compromised. The defense decides to utilize its technological advantage for a covert strike. From a concealed position on a neighboring balcony, a Delta operator launches a small loitering munition, a kamikaze drone. This device is practically invisible in the night sky, emitting only a barely audible high-frequency hum. It is meant to silently eliminate the SSO team on the roof. But the attackers are prepared for such a scenario. A portable RF detector on the SSO scout's tactical gear triggers, picking up the drone's control signal, while a directional acoustic sensor instantly localizes the flight path by the sound of the electric motor. There is no time to think. The SSO operator raises his rifle, fitted with a suppressor and flash hider. A short burst. The rounds strike the drone's plastic body just 10 meters from their position. A detonation occurs. The blast wave and shrapnel wound one of the SSO operators, and a bright flash momentarily illuminates the roof. From this moment, the shadow game is over. Both sides realize contact has been made. The SSO activates its dynamic assault plan. Delta initiates its emergency evacuation protocol. The urban silence explodes. The area around the villa instantly turns into a hellscape with a complex combat geometry. The SSO begins to act aggressively and decisively. Their task is to isolate the villa, suppress external defense outposts, and prevent Delta from evacuating the VIP. Specialized smoke grenades are thrown into the streets, creating a dense, impenetrable screen. SSO operators open suppressive fire from the safe houses. The operators use infrared laser designators. Under normal conditions, their beams are invisible, but through tactical night vision devices, the sky above the city is crisscrossed by dozens of green and red vectors, a mutual target designation network. The local militia of Delta's outer ring instantly scatters under the dense fire of the SSO, but they have fulfilled their role as human motion sensors. Now, the main forces of Delta Force enter the fray. Their tactics do not involve holding the villa's walls to the last bullet. Their mission is the survival of the protected individual. The close protection team secures the VIP on the floor of an armored SUV, while fire coordinators direct suppressive cover fire. Delta deploys its concealment systems, aerosol grenades that block not only visual sight, but also thermal radiation. The streets are enveloped in a dense white fog, in which the SSO's thermal imagers see nothing but a gray wall. Delta snipers from the upper floors begin methodical work to suppress SSO machine gun nests and heavy weapons operators. A duel of sniper teams begins. The SSO utilizes large-caliber rifle systems, attempting to penetrate the walls of the buildings shielding the American marksmen. Every tactical move is met with a countermove. A convoy of 2 armored Delta Force SUVs, headlights blazing and at maximum speed, pushes to break through a pre-cleared corridor in the southern part of the city. Along their path, the SSO is already deploying blocking positions. Along the convoy's route, explosions ring out. Directional command-detonated mines, planted by Delta along potential ambush routes days in advance, are triggered. In a confrontation between Tier 1 units, there are no simple scenarios or obvious victories. Here, everything is decided by 3 fundamental factors. First is evacuation logistics. If Delta Force manages to break through the SSO blockades and reach the designated extraction point, where helicopter support or a fortified Allied checkpoint awaits, they win. Their mission to preserve the VIP's life will be accomplished. The second factor is airspace control. If the SSO can deploy heavy attack drones or air defense systems to block air corridors, Delta will find themselves trapped in the grip of urban blocks with no hope of rapid extraction. And third is the factor of unpredictability. Victory goes to whoever breaks tactical patterns faster. Will the SSO commit to a risky flanking maneuver, exposing their reserves to attack? Can Delta's cyber unit remotely disable cellular communications in the entire district, stripping the SSO of coordination at a critical moment? But if we put chance aside and turn to military theory, in this scenario, the statistical advantage lies with the defenders, Delta Force. Defending a pre-surveyed, fortified sector with prepared escape routes, backup communication channels, and pre-ranged sectors of fire always holds priority over an assault. Delta's task is to maintain control and buy time. The SSO's task is to break that control under the pressure of a ticking clock, where every second of delay brings the arrival of enemy regular forces closer. Without overwhelming numerical superiority or heavy air support, assaulting a fortified position held by specialists of Delta Force's caliber becomes an operation of exceptionally high risk for the attackers. In this deadly tactical chess game, protecting the king is almost always easier than delivering checkmate.